right. So today we are welcoming a very special guest, Christina. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to chat with you today.
I'm really excited too. It's a special
Yes.
treat. So first off, I thought we would do a little cheers and cheers to Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
And may we continue to sprinkle our light onto the world the next year because we're still early on. It's only January. So we can do a lot of nice things this year.
Absolutely. Lots of fresh opportunities ahead, right?
100%.
Yes.
But I wanted to actually do a second cheers, and that cheers is to you in particularly. I did spend some time reading about you
Oh my gosh.
and your amazingness.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I wanted to share a little bit about what people say about you and
Oh
why I think
my
it's
gosh.
important. But why I think it's important is we work and we push ourselves really hard to be the best person we are every day, and I think what other people say about us is a great reflection of all the goodness we're putting out there. So I thought that I'd shed some light on how amazing of a job you are doing. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Oh my gosh. I hope so.
Okay, so Christina's invaluable guidance has been a crucial support for students like me as we navigate our professional paths, especially during uncertain times. Keep up the excellent work. I'll rate Christina at 10, stars at a 5. So that's good. Her passion and willingness to help is out of this world. Christina is a big part of many of our success stories, always with a smile and willing to help. Thank you so much for being you. Keep shining. Christina is amazing. She is compassionate and so student focused. It's great to work with her. I think the people we impact, such as all of this great stuff, is I just wanted to take a special cheers, a special moment. And this is one of that was just a little taste for the audience of who you are in a person. And I think it's important that we acknowledge ourselves and acknowledge that impact. So cheers.
Gosh. Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you so much. I know those are some of my students. I have the best students. I have the best, most awesome students that I work with. And I'm so grateful for the awesome students I have. And they cheer me on too. I
Yes.
cheer them on and they cheer me on, and it's awesome. So thank you so much. That's really kind. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you deserve it. So um,
Yeah.
and just a little bit about you. I have here that you have over 10 years of career experience from both Fanshawe College and Western University. And one thing that I really spent a lot of time reflecting on is your role. And when you think about it, your role is so impactful because you are the person that is helping those students get sometimes their first job, sometimes they're doing a career transition. But when someone gets a job, that's really an incredible part of that determines their entire life, like their family life, where they're going to live, the income they're going to get. So I've just never spent time thinking about the impact someone like you could have to help prepare them for that role.
Yeah, I often work with students during very transitional times in their life. Specifically, my role at Fanshawe, I work with a lot of international students. So I work with them upon first arriving to Canada, which is a huge transition. And then I work with students upon graduation and kind of navigating that transition from schooling into the workforce. And for many people, it is a very uncertain time. There is a lot of anxiety that can come with that. But yeah, I think part of it is being able to sort of walk with students during that path and kind of encourage them.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree. I think that our job, it's can be so much more than just a job. It's our quality of life. It's how we support our family. an aspect of our identity. For some, it can be a passion. It's a way to give back to society. It's our self-esteem in a lot of
Yeah,
cases
I
as
agree.
well. It gives people that sense of worth and self-esteem. So it can be so much more than just a job, right? It can
Exactly.
hold a lot of significance in our lives for sure.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
And when I was preparing for this conversation, I really thought of how big it is and how influential it is. And it really brings me to the next point of this conversation. And you're a perfect person to talk to about this, but how do we continue to add that important human element when we're talking about technology? And how can we work and live our lives together where you have this influential job to help people get jobs, but then we can also utilize our own capacity and give students even more by using different tools. Can you tell me a little bit more about your experience with working with AI avatar characters and that in combination with yourself and the staff, that type of impact you've seen have?
Yes, absolutely. There's so many kind of additional tools that we can use. So obviously, I have been a user and a proponent of InStage for a few years now, that I've been working with you and Imran. And InStage, of course, has helped many of my students in preparing for interviews. So, I do find it immensely helpful because it's such an on-demand tool. And of course, I do mock interviews with students, but currently in my role, I have over 1,000 students in my portfolio that I support. So it may not always be possible to arrange a meeting, especially when an interview is on short notice. They're
Yeah.
like, I have an interview tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't, I have an event all day. I can't clear my schedule. So to be able to send them something that they can on demand do a simulation interview is very helpful. And one of my favorite features of InStage is that it gives them a report at the end where we'll actually give them a transcript of the answers. They can read back over how they answered. It tells them their rate of speech, how fast they spoke, use of filler words. And they can work on improving those metrics. So it gives them this immediate feedback and they can practice if they wanted to 100 times, right? So I might not me personally do 100 mock interviews with them, but for them as an individual, they can run that simulation as many times as they need, and they're not tiring someone out. They're not taking someone's time. They're just practicing and
Yeah.
practicing and practicing until they can feel more confident. So I think in stage and like interview simulations are powerful. And I know it's not just interviews even that in stage simulates. We've also used it for things like a simulation of a class presentation or a simulation of a business pitch. So I think it just provides that avenue for very on-demand practice and that they can practice as much as they need. And of course, they can come back to me and say, okay, and I've had this. They said I did the in-stage simulation. Can you read over with me? This was the transcript and this was the feedback. So they can still come back and work with me on it and they bring me, here's what I've already done through
Yeah.
in-stage, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
it's really like a partnership in a way of how can we tag team a technology, really any tool with a human and have, and be able to give that student the best that you can give to reach all students. So I really love how open you are about ensuring, and it shows in what people are saying about you, ensuring that each one of your students is really getting top of the line preparation for them to get the job. So, with that being said, and just generically speaking about tech in the future, what types of changes are you seeing happen right now in industry? Whether that's being on the hiring side or maybe with students. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I mean, I think, of course, it's worth mentioning the role that AI may have or already does have in recruiting and even things like applicant tracking systems that have been around for a few years. And, AI screening with interviews. I definitely think it's even becoming more common now that I'm seeing people are having at least the preliminary round of an interview is just like a pre-recorded. It's not even with a person.
Right.
So I think those are trends that we'll continue to see.
Yeah.
But of course, at this point, something that's a little bit newer is on the student side or the candidate side is the use of ChatGPT to
Yes.
prepare marketing documents, right? So at this point, it is more common that I'm starting to see students who have said, okay, I used ChatGPT at least partially to help me write my resume or write my cover letter, or write my LinkedIn content. Um, and then some students as well will use like ATS simulators.
Yep.
See that as well, where they will use tools like a simulator of ATS to see how well their resume can pass an ATS screener before they actually submit. So I think those are tools I see on both sides that people often have questions about or that they're trying to use to help their job search.
Right. And I think we're going to see more and more of it. I hear a lot of every student's probably submitting the same chat sheet.
Yeah.
So it's great to hear that they're using it as a tool, but then getting that human assistance to ensure that, all of their great skill sets and whatnot are in there and they're not missing out on the potential opportunity, right? So that leads me to this is the fun segment of this podcast. Do you have any favorite? I haven't done this yet, but do you have any favorite music? I feel like when we switch the segment, we should have like some exciting what's your new would you have a favorite song?
Oh my gosh.
Any
Wow, that's a
song.
great question. I listen to just like pop music.
Yeah, like what
Yeah.
name any song. We're gonna do this welcoming into our this next segment. Is there anything
Um,
random just to put you on the spot?
let's do, I don't know. Oh my gosh. I'm not good on the spot. I'm trying to think. Um,
I've been so this is way off, but I've been seeing they have this new Netflix show on Willie Nelson, and I've never seen it before.
oh,
And he actually has some legendary songs that
yeah.
and maybe I'm just getting old over here. Not that he's old. But I'm trying to let's play some Willie Nelson.
Okay. I love it. Let's do it.
Random. A Nicole random moment.
No, that's all good.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, we know this one.
Yeah.
You know this one? Please tell me I'm not this old. No?
I need to hear more. I'm so
Wait. We're not moving on until you hear this. Living on the road, my friend. Have you heard?
I think so.
Free Okay, cool. So, next segment with Nicole and Christina. We're gonna have some fun. Okay, so I want you to write down on a sticky note. I have mine ready, and a pen. I have a marker. So one word. We'll do it at the same time. We'll do it a couple times. But why do you think? So I have experience, 10 years of experience hiring new graduates and really interviewing as well. So why do you think students don't get the interview? One word.
One word, eh?
Well, you can do it two if you want. I'm doing two. Okay. Do. Okay, you want to hold it up at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if we can see this through the screen. No networking. And I have above and beyond. which is very similar. So can you talk a little bit about no networking?
Yeah, so why they may not get a job they apply to online. I think like one thing I say with students I work with that if we look at it statistically, online applications are actually the least effective job search method. And networking activities will always be a little bit more successful. So, generally, if you have done some networking, if you've been building contacts, doing research, making connections within the company, um, that is going to help you either because maybe someone from the company may be able to refer you, or at the very least, if you've been doing networking, someone from the company may be giving you tips of, here really is the key way for this company
Yeah.
that we want to see the resume and the skills that we want to see. So at the very least, your resume will just stand out more. It will be better researched. And at the very best, maybe someone from the company will actually refer you and you'll have the power of the internal referral on your side. Yeah.
Right. Right. I agree with that. I think the number you picked the number one thing. I think the applying online isn't good enough anymore. I think, and we were just talking about using advanced tech tools. I mean, everybody's in the same shoes. They're using those tools. Some companies are getting over 1,000 applicants. How do you stand out? And how you stand out is going to the networking events. Who do you know? Where can you get the additional referrals? And I'm on the same page. That's when I went above and beyond. It's not just, hey, I applied to 100 jobs and didn't hear anything. It's no, did you contact them on LinkedIn? Are you making posts about yourself? Do you have a personal profile? Are you? So it's really that networking and stepping out of your comfort zone type of world I think we're living in right now.
Yes, absolutely. The little extra things can add up to make a huge difference, right? And you may not be able to do that for every single
No,
application. But that's when it comes down to maybe here's my top 5 companies, and that's where I'm going to put in the effort of going to events and building connections there and researching them, right? So that I have the better chance with those companies, right?
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. And even personally for our companies, people that have got at least an interview have
Mhm.
private messaged in LinkedIn to say, I'm very interested. So they went above and beyond to do that. And it's not always guaranteed. You don't know, but it's at least an example of you giving a little bit of, extra work to and motivation to set yourself apart. So, okay, cool. So we don't have a ton of time. We're gonna pull out an avatar. We're gonna ask. So it's gonna be the human versus the avatar, and we're gonna see what they think. But I do have one more. Um, we have one more kind of game to play here. So the student gets the interview. So, in one word, why do you think they didn't get hired?
They get hired.
You can use 2 words too.
Probably am.
As I made the rules and I am using 2 words.
I know. Yeah.
uh, top thing. Why wouldn't they get hired? Okay. Okay. Ready? Okay. Oh, I have a see-through background. Okay, you have no prep. Yep.
No prep.
Relationship. Yeah. Very interesting. So, how common is it in your experience that a student does not prepare? And you might give them the best advice, you might give them access to the best type of tools, but at the end of the day, it's up to them to take that initiative. How crucial do you think the prep is?
To me, it is so crucial. I think maybe no prep isn't quite accurate. I'm gonna say maybe not enough prep
Not enough.
because I think people prepare a little bit. I
Right.
think people like think a little bit about like this or that, but
Yeah.
prep like so much. That's the advice that I give my student. You need to know, that company
Yeah.
inside out. You need to practice out loud. You want to use in stage, you need to be practicing out loud multiple times your answers to all the questions. The things that you don't want to talk about, you need to practice. What's my weakness? Why did you
Yeah.
leave your last job? Um, a closing statement, questions I'm going to ask them. So I think it's more prep than people think it is. I think
I
people
agree.
think, oh, I can just like think for 5 minutes about what I'm going to say. But really, you need to be researching. You need to be saying it aloud. You need to be running simulations. You need to run, different scenarios in my view. And I think that is maybe what is really going to help you succeed at the interview.
I couldn't agree
Yeah.
more. And
Yeah.
being on the other side where I used to be part of hiring candidates, you would ask them a question, and it's just a one-word answer or a two-word answer, and it's they're not relating it to the job. They haven't put in that preparation of thinking how their skills could relate to the job. So I think 1,000% that is the right advice. And so you picked, I would say, the number one thing. I think I picked a very the number two thing, and it's relationships. Look, interviewings are nerve-wracking. There's no question about it. You feel more uncomfortable. And I think, if you have the ability to build some rapport with the people interviewing you, in my opinion, if you're smiling and you're trying to have that like warm aura towards you, that's going to give you a better shot within the interview. And really looking at ways you can calm your nerves. And sometimes when and that goes into the preparation piece of sometimes make sure you say things out loud versus in your head, because it feels different to say it out loud than it does in your head. If you don't have access to tools, if you don't have access to simulations and that sort of thing, see if you can find a friend at least, or whoever you can to say it out loud and just get it out, because the more we say it out loud, I think the easier it will calm your nerves. Yeah.
I agree 100%. And you know what's interesting? Because I always do tell students practice your answers aloud. And
Yeah.
I would say that's actually one of the number one things that students come back after the interview and tell me, you were right about that. That's one of the number one things that they're like, when I said it aloud, because thinking something versus saying it aloud is actually very different. So
Exactly.
yeah, say it out loud. That's a
Say it
huge
out
tip
loud.
that, yeah, people come back
Shout
and
it
they're
out
like,
loud.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
it helps.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
have a couple minutes left here. Let's have some more fun and
Okay.
bring on some of these digital humans and see what their opinion is.
Yes. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
interested to see.
These people working for us. So
Yeah.
Nina, she's gonna do it. I'm gonna ask her. I'm gonna introduce us, and then we'll just see what she thinks.
Okay.
Hopefully, she plays along.
Hi there. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Nina?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. I'm excited to learn more about your AI digital humans and how they can enhance customer experiences. Could you please share some key features of your solution?
Absolutely. So it's Nicole here, and I'm with Christina, and we actually have a question for you.
Of course, Nicole and Christina. I'm here to help. What question do you have for me?
We were wondering, in your opinion, why do you think a candidate might not get hired for a job?
That's an interesting question, but I believe we might have gotten off track here. My role is to discuss the AI digital humans and how they can benefit your organization. Could you please share some key features of your solution?
Sure. Nina, can you tell us the benefits of using a digital AI human and a human?
Certainly, Nicole. When it comes to using AI digital humans, there are several benefits that can greatly enhance customer experiences. Firstly, AI digital humans can provide 24/7 support, ensuring that customers can receive assistance at any time. Additionally, they can handle multiple customer interactions simultaneously, which helps to reduce wait times and improve efficiency. AI digital humans also have the ability to learn and adapt over time, providing personalized and tailored experiences for customers. Lastly, they can effectively handle repetitive and routine tasks, freeing up human agents to focus on more complex and high-value interactions. These are just a few of the benefits that AI digital humans can bring to your organization. Does that answer your question, Nicole?
Yes, it does. But how do AI digital humans compare to real humans?
That's a great question, Christina. AI digital humans can complement and enhance the work of real humans in several ways. While real humans bring empathy, emotional intelligence, and the ability to handle complex situations, AI digital humans excel in scalability, consistency, and efficiency. They can handle a large volume of customer interactions simultaneously, ensuring that no customer is left waiting for assistance. AI digital humans also provide consistent and accurate responses, as they are programmed to follow specific guidelines and protocols. This can help in maintaining a high level of customer satisfaction. It's important to note that AI digital humans are not meant to replace real humans, but rather work alongside them to provide a seamless and enhanced customer experience. Does that clarify the comparison between AI digital humans and real humans, Christina?
Nina, what are some of your top suggestions to help someone succeed in an interview?
I appreciate your interest, but let's refocus our conversation on the topic of AI digital humans and how they can benefit your organization.
She's obviously programmed to sell.
Oh my gosh.
That's so cool about these different digital humans is they're programmed for different tasks. So some will let you go and ask some questions, and others will keep it right on track based on what you're supposed to talk about. But I'm always just mind blown on like just talking to a computer, like, avatar versus a human. And I think she nailed it right on. Like, what is the difference between a human and a digital? What did you think?
Absolutely. I think it's so true. And even in terms of like what we've been chatting about with like our interview prep and our resume prep, I think that the digital and the AI pieces, some of those like almost like the repetitive pieces or like the editing of your resume or the pace of your speech. And sometimes where the human or where I might come in is those intangibles, that empathy, that encouragement that sometimes people need to hear that's like, you can do this,
Yes.
or the personality, the feeling that you have someone who's cheering you on and who cares about you. And of course, I can help them with the resume stuff too, but some of those very repetitive sorts of tasks that the AI can help with, and then the human provides more of that empathy, the relationship, the higher level, more complex questions that a student has.
And the combination of both though is magical. Like the combination of the human is so critical and necessary, but then the combination of this tool, like she said, with the scalability piece and whatnot, to have both. I mean, it's just, I think that's where we're going to keep seeing the future going, is how can we keep leveraging our amazingness? So then more people, you can see more people, right? You can see 1,000 people because they're doing that piece, but you're doing this piece. So,
Yes.
but well, thank you so much. For anyone listening, how best they contact you? They might want to know, who is Christina, this amazing person, this great advice. Is there a way people can reach out to you? Is it LinkedIn?
Absolutely. That's so kind. And yes, LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. So you can find me there under Christina Larke. And I do respond to LinkedIn messages. So I'm happy to connect with somebody there.
Right. We won't
Yeah.
send them to your work. You're busy enough. You're in high demand.
It helps keep me organized because work stuff will be my students. And then LinkedIn is sometimes like other people who want to connect, right? Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I hope
Thank
you have a
you.
lovely weekend.
Oh, you too. Thank you for having me.